Doug MPA back with another video. So guys, I'm starting a series where I find women that hate certain professions on TikTok, and we're going to start with teachers. Here are 3 cases of women that are teachers and can't stand it. And the reason why I want to do teachers is that 80% of teachers are women now. 80%. 80%, guys. There pretty much are no male teachers anymore, and you could argue that the downfall of America's public education system is because it's a bunch of women who want everyone to get a participation trophy, pushing agenda over standard education. We all know the story. If you're watching this video, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? In the 40s, 50s, 60s. Now, I'm not one of those people, hey, let's go back to the 40s, 50s, and 60s, but there are things that you can't deny. When men were the predominant ones in the classroom, it was completely different. You didn't even need teacher aides back then. So we're going to get into this compilation. Before I do that, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. It shows you support me and what I'm doing over here. And let's get into this first case here.
Truly, teaching is one of the most agonizing professions that requires you to basically sign over your mind, body, and soul to a sea witch. But
does that sound appealing, you guys? Does it? Doesn't sound appealing to me. And just like when you hear women complain about nursing or even law, there's a lot of women complaining about going into nursing, law, and teaching. You can Google, what can I expect if I become a teacher? What can I expect if I become a nurse? What can I expect if I become a lawyer? And these women do it anyway, and they hate it.
But there's a reason that we do. And some of you, I think, are waiting for the phrase, remember your why. And no, I am not going to use that manipulative phrase on you.
Remember your why? Well, that sounds like that is a manipulation technique. Because that is convincing women that their passion is enough compensation instead of dignity, respect, salary, and status. And that's why men have walked away from teaching. Could you imagine, guys, if you're in the club as a young man out of college and you start as a teacher and you try to hit on some pretty woman, a 7, 8, 9, or 10, and say that you're a teacher as a profession, she'll laugh at you.
But my heart today is meant to show you that you are, were, could be, want to be a teacher for a reason. And it's okay to hate it. It's okay to have bad days, months, years. It's okay to complain. It's okay to throw a tantrum out of frustration because your job sucks.
Let me say one more thing. I'm pausing this a lot, but this is the first time I'm seeing this. I'm actually reacting to this. I think another problem with women in teaching is women expect to love their jobs. Okay? 47% of men work infrastructure jobs. So they're the guys on the roofs, changing your tires in the sewers. Okay? They don't love their jobs. They love that job gives them the means to provide for themselves and their family. And I think if more women had that attitude, instead of, oh, I don't love it. Loving your job is a privilege, ladies, that not a lot of us get. Us men understand this. I don't know why women don't.
And it sucks the living everything out of you. It's also okay to feel the good, to be proud of yourself for making a copy that day, connecting with one student or with all of them. It's okay to let the good in every now and again.
Sounds appealing, right? Yeah, I thought so. Okay, let's check out case number 2 here. Let's go.
You want to know what sucks as a teacher? I just kind of feel really guilty because today I was on the phone with my sister and I walked into my apartment because I always call her on the way home, and I just said, I'm done talking. I said, I've been talking all day to every single person I've responding to my name all day. I just want to sit in silence.
You know, when there were days when I used to go into the office for my day job, I felt that way. So I can see where she's coming from. Can you imagine these kids all day long, and then you have to come home to some person that's whether it be family or a significant other? That has to be hard.
And I actually felt so bad. And I hate that teaching drains the life out of me. That by the time the end of the day comes and I get to talk to friends and I get to talk to people, I don't want to.
That's another thing. If you looked up teaching before you got into it, you would realize it's the same as you can find older nurses on TikTok talking about the new nurses complaining about having to see patients. There are young nurses who got into nursing not expecting to have to interact with people all day. And apparently it's the same with these teachers. Teaching is about interacting with kids. It's what the job is.
And that is a teacher truth. And that is something they do not tell you in college.
Like I said in the last videos, sounds appealing, right, guys? Yeah. And let's look at case number 3.
With me while I talk about things that I don't like about being a teacher. I, of course, love teaching. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't do it. But just like any profession, there are things not to like about it. And I'm speaking just from my own experience. I don't like that we don't get say in the curriculum. This one is mind-blowing to me because we're the ones who are working directly with the students. So for us not to get a say in what's going to work best for them just drives me crazy.
That's why they have school boards. And if there's one local election, the local elections, you need to pay attention to who your sheriff is, who the school board is, and who your judges are. Guys, I implore you to look into your local elections and vote for your judges, your sheriffs, and the school board.
I don't like standardized tests. I could go on and on about that one, but I'll just leave it at that. The pay scale.
Wait, you don't like standardized tests? What's that supposed to mean? How else are you supposed to gauge if a student is where they're supposed to be?
I do teach in a district where new teachers start at $60,000, which I don't think.
$60,000 out of the jump, out of the gate? What? See, guys, on my channel, I always talk about how a lot of female-dominated industries are front-loaded. Nurses, teachers, even hairstylists. Female hairstylists make a lot more than the male barbers do. But the problem is, right around 35, male-dominated careers start making more money all the way to the end of your career. That's why you see a lot of these women are boss chicks in their 20s and end up broke looking for you to pay for their bills when they're in their 30s. Because guys, right around 33, 34, 35, 36, your salary is going to pass all these women.
Think that that's bad for anyone like fresh out of college to start at. For me, the problem is not the start. It's the fact that someone who has been teaching for 10 plus years only makes a couple grand more than someone who's fresh out of college.
There you go. I told you guys. The salaries are front loaded. Front loaded. A lot of nurses don't make 6 figures unless you're a travel nurse. A lot of teachers don't come anywhere near 6 figures. So that salary you start at when you're 25 is what you're going to be staring at when you're 45, but probably another $7,000 to $8,000 more, and that's it.
I also don't like the lack of opportunities to move up. Yeah, you could become like a coach or, go into admin. Something that's just wild to me is that someone who's been doing this job for 20 years is still just a teacher. Although I've been doing it for 5 and you've been doing it for 20, we're literally still in the same position. We're both just teachers.
But it's about the passion, right? You're supposed to, love shaping young minds and pushing your politics and ideals on all these young minds that can come in conflict with their parents. It's about that, not pay and status and respect. No, of course not.
I don't like that we're one of the few jobs that if someone has a bad experience with one of us, they hate all of us. I had a bad experience with the doctor, and I don't go around saying that I hate all doctors, nor do I make a Facebook post about it. God forbid someone has a bad experience with one teacher. All teachers are bad, and they hate all teachers.
See, I know I'm stopping this a lot, but guys, one of the things about America tries to fool you that teachers actually care about you learning, and they don't, guys. They don't. I learned that. I thought that in high school. I was like, oh, I'm gonna find me a Coach Carter or one of these teachers that are gonna fight for. No, man. Teachers are just people working their jobs and they're lazy at it. Guys, especially the guys listening to this with children, Tell your children early, don't put your esteem in the hands of teachers. They don't care. You're just some number on a page. And the sooner you realize that, the better. I didn't realize that until community college and undergrad. Okay? They're there as a job. They're not going to go the extra mile. They're not going to call you at night and make sure your homework's done. They're not going to advocate for you. It's not their job.
Also, the fact that people forget that we're more than just teachers, hold us to crazy standards and expect us not to do things that normal people our age do. I remember one of my teacher friends telling me that a parent called and reported her to the school because on her Facebook, which this parent wasn't even friends with her on, saw her in a group photo with her bathing suit on spring break on the beach.
Okay, so why'd your friend post that on social media in the first place, knowing she's a teacher? Let's ask that question.
What else was she supposed to wear on the beach? The crazy part is it wasn't even like a promiscuous picture or anything. It was literally a group photo of her family. I heard so many other crazy stories like that. I just don't understand that one. I don't like that most districts have a really strict dress code. Teaching in business casual clothes does not make me a better teacher. I teach first grade, so when I have on like a fancy pair of slacks, it actually hinders my abilities. Especially because I spend my days doing things like tying shoes and getting to their level, which is really hard to do in dress pants. Lastly, I don't like that people expect teachers to do it all. Y'all, learning has to start at home. Along with teaching manners, teaching respect, all of the above, we cannot do it all.
Okay, so the dress code thing, come on, you have to look professional. You have to. But I can agree with her on the last point. Because we live in a two-income economy that both parents are working, they neglect their children a lot of the time, there are more expectations on teachers. Yes, I would agree with that 100%. So does this make teaching sound like something you'd want to go into, guys? Because there's a lot of women on TikTok complaining about teaching. I'm not going to say anything about them doing it. I'm not a teacher. I wouldn't want to be a teacher. And I give people that do jobs I wouldn't do the utmost respect. So don't think that I don't have any respect for teachers. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one.